sacrifice location a little bit just to wait for a little bit more of a sign of reversal. Started to get a little bit of hesitation up there after taking out that 940 high and then got short 918. So I'm looking to see if we can kind of break underneath this support where I entered my longs around the 870s to 850s. And I would love to see some new lows of day potentially, but I'm going to be very mindful about how I start to trail my stop as we do build structure back to the downside, if that's what the market chooses to do. Ideally, knowing I'm a little over a 1-to-1 now, what I'm looking for is some closure kind of back underneath 960, which would be kind of that area where we hesitated and built a little higher low. So if we can close back under the 860s at that point, I'm going to start to move my stop to break even. And I only have the one on, so I'm kind of all in, all out on this, unfortunately. But I am looking to see how much room to the downside we actually have.
Yeah, we are right around
Looks
that
pretty
middle.
good.
Yeah, it's a great trade. As a range trader, I am pretty much in love with it because this range has been incredible since about 10 o'clock this morning.
Yep,
It's been
absolutely.
a beautiful, what, 100
Absolutely.
let's say 150 points. We'll round up. Henry, how'd you trade today? Markets were pretty crazy.
Yeah, I saw the down pressure event, and so I always trade my personal accounts first, and then I will work on Topstep accounts. And I sat there and thought, all right, I've got downside pressure, but I found myself, I could see it building structure on the bottom. So what do I mean by that? When you come in and you see price go from low to high, and then diddle around here, see it building structure on the bottom, hit another higher high, but still under the VWAP, and then you come back and retest that low, that's your first element of information that says, hey, they're trying to build structure here. So what does it mean trying to build structure? They're just trying to build a base. They're trying to say, hey, thou shalt not head lower. And so we could see them doing it. And because I felt the reflexive move was going to be strong, I jumped in at the midline and then gave it up. And so my impatience started, which has me in a cycle of wash, rinse, repeat, which has me down $80. And so that is super annoying. What would be great if I hop along to the trading space that Gabe is in and I say, all right, let's see if it can build structure here again. So I will look for it to hold the bottom to see if it moves. Because guess what? I think the traders have to unwind all that positive delta. So,
order filled.
If Gabe, you're thinking about holding that trade for a while, that's not a bad idea at all. Because I suspect the unwind of delta into the end of the day might really occur. So again, what does that mean, unwind the delta? If you're long and you're trying to build the base and you're trying to get to the top of the range and you're really giving it the little old ant up the rubber tree plant kind of thing, and it's not happening, you're going to cut and run. And if you cut and run, you're going to have to cover if you've been long all day. And that's very likely to give us downside drift. Now, look at what's happened. If we stare this down, it stopped right at value area low. Right there at that edge, trying to hold that zone. At value area low,
profile.
Value area high gives us another shot up at the top of the range. You can tell that that's pretty much what they're doing. If we pull it back into the overnight formations, it's still showing that value area at around the very same spot. So we can tell that they're trying to build structure there.
We
really
have spent a lot of time down here.
Oh my gosh, hours and hours and hours.
Well, let's take a brief look around the markets and see kind of where everything's trading at here. So we have the equities, of course. I'm in that short from the 918s. NASDAQ is trading 855s. S&P is trading 60, 884s, kind of near a little bit closer to the middle of this 5-minute range that we've been in since this morning. Dow's trading 49,807s. We got gold and silver both trading near lows of session. Gold's trading 49.61s. Silver's trading just beneath 76, actually now $76 an ounce. And crude oil is holding steady right around the 82.90 level right now. Tilt, we do have about a 67% long tilt in both the S&Ps and the NASDAQ, and crude has about a 61% long tilt now. We did see a high of 77% long in the crude tilt as of last hour, so we are shaving off a little bit of that in the last 30 minutes or so. But yeah, it's kind of where we're at in the markets. Chat, what are we looking at? Y'all long, y'all short? What are we thinking about for the end of day here? We do need to do our good old above and below. So
Oh
Anne-Marie,
my
spend
goodness.
the next minute, Anne-Marie, and kind
Please.
of give me a price where you think the NASDAQ is going to close here at the end of the session following MOC. But chat, what are y'all up to? What do you got cooking right now?
So what is going to be the above below? What do we think?
I think the above below line is probably going to be 24,900.
Okay.
Ooh.
Could bounce and fade, but
24,900.
yeah.
Perfect. That's good. Kind of right in the middle of the range here.
Yeah.
Kind of curious to see if we can sweep these lows at 24,800, though. That would really be exciting and kind of dictate what I feel like we would see in tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be a big day, chat. We do have U.S. core CPI year over year and month over month. And we also have the annual revisions as well, forecasting 2.5 for the CPI. Anne-Marie, if it comes in hot, what do you think is going to happen? If it comes in cool, what would we expect?
Here, let me think.
Whatever diviner you have.
I have no idea. Truly,
Crystal ball.
The traders are so actively hedged that it's very hard to tell. We have flipped from negative gamma to positive gamma to negative gamma to positive gamma. And today we've stayed, I don't know if you guys have noticed when maybe Hoga's been telling you, but cumulative delta hasn't been more than 3,500 for maybe 4,000 for days. And today,
really?
all of a sudden, it's up at 20,000. So what's that all about?
Is this just for the ES?
Yes, for the ES.
Yes, okay.
For the ES. And so that's really an unusual thing. They're poised in the options market for a big upside pressure event. But the mornings have found us selling off dramatically and then moving right back up. So, the truth is we're sitting in this very ugly sideways pattern that is
target filled.
It's an epic range. I mean, the last time we were over there was Feb 6, and then we were there again Feb 4. We broke down, immediately recovered, V-shaped bottom. The chart has just been dreadfully sideways. And who's to say that it's not going to be sideways still? Which is probably what they're thinking.
What do you think? Is it going to be, is it tariffs? Is the tariff Supreme Court decision, is that what's keeping this thing so locked up in a range? I mean...
Well, ultimately what's keeping it locked up in the range is because less people are investing into the Mag 7 and they're rotating into the sectors underneath that feed the Mag 7. So semiconductors have been huge. AI, energy-related companies, huge upside moves. So we're rotating out of all the things that made the market go straight up, And so now it's just doing some mean reversion. That's what's holding the indices in this big lockstep right here. But if you look at each index, there's a different sort of thing happening. The Russell is trying to move forward, but a lot of the Russell are unprofitable and really kind of malinvestment events. The few of them that are doing well are lifting the entire sector. And then when foreign divestment says, wait a second, you know, the US still might have some juice left in the squeeze upward, that makes them run to the Dow. And so the people back home are saying, hey, there's a shoe that's about to drop.
Order filled.
I don't know a single analyst that is not saying, hey, we're going to have ourselves a pretty good mean reversion into some deep supports.
Right.
Not that it won't reflexively buy, but we've got some deep supports that are on the horizon. And so they're all front running, which, you know, you stop there, YM goes straight up, Europeans chase in that space, and then big money's using it as exit liquidity. And that's what we're seeing. A lot of exit liquidity when these new highs come in.
Well, speaking of the opposite of new highs, NASDAQ is making a push here towards potentially some new lows of the session. We are only about 35, 40 points away. We just closed right around the 840s here. I'm looking to see if we can break below these 830s. This is really kind of my line in the sand. If we clear these 830s out, I think we're going to be room at least clear back down to 800. Maybe peak below the lows we've already made today. What we do underneath that is a question mark for me. I'm not too sure whether this is going to recover into the back end of power hour or whether or not we're just going to end up closing on the lows of the day. But I do like the continuation we're getting. We held that little area of support that I initially got long in last hour between the 860s and 870s. Holding that, just made another kind of lower high, and now we're seeing some selling continue.
Order filled.
I'm going to start to trail this if we do start trading near those 800s. I did initially go to break even once we got back underneath that support floor. And now I'm going to start to trail above some of this 1 minute structure just to kind of lock in some profit. So there's a closure below that 830 level for me. So for now, that would invalidate that level. I'm going to go ahead and lock in a little bit more profit. Go ahead and tighten up my risk right above that previous high. Now, that might not be enough breathing room in case we do trade back into the middle of the range before taking those lows, but I'm more than okay with an $800 winner off that if we do come back up towards those 880s. Yeah. But that's going to be the point.
Order filled
for me.
Great trade. I mean, you're walking the tightrope, Gabe. You only got one contract on, so it is very, very tricky to manage the trade. I think you're doing it beautifully. This trade is going extraordinarily well. Let's see if we can get these 800s. Anne-Marie, what's kind of your short-term look here on the micro NASDAQ?
Look at all the structure we've been building. There's going to be a big fight, probably a reflexive bounce. Let's see what the delta is there. It's still high.
Okay.
Let's see what the NQ delta is. I got to check a different machine.
Man, this is
where am I?
Long and strong to the downside here. Well, about 28 points away from 24,800. Big round number. Gabe, you are getting lots of praise in chat. Chat, please hold your praise until Gabe is out of the trade. This is the NASDAQ we're talking about here. It's still a great trade, but it is still unrealized.
The delta in NQ is negative 5,700.
Okay.
So it is completely different.
That is a little bit, that's making me want to just take profit at the lows, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I would suspect that we see a reflexive bounce here.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put a bid in with that new information. For me, knowing we like in the difference of having a squeeze on buyers. I mean, if delta is negative I mean, people are
Order
building into
filled.
shorts to from what I'm understanding, right, Henry?
Well, they
filled.
have been short. They might not be building because it's been staying steady at about that 6,700. They haven't really dipped down below that. So they are short. What they have to do is decide to unwind. If they don't unwind, it'll continue downward. And the structure suggests a measured move. The bottom edge of that could be 24,677. So after market, if 6 o'clock opens up and we lose this range, this would be the measure of the move you would look at. You would just draw a box around all that accumulation since 10, and then you would expect price action to continue if it loses and does not recapture this region at 24,800 or so.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to keep my bid in here at the 805s. And if we continue to maintain above under 800, then I will maybe look for a possible re-entry. But for right now, treating this like a range play, because that's what my initial plan of action was, is to enter near the extremities of the higher end of the range and look to target the lows of the range. And then if we get more information that provides me some confidence of sustained selling under 800, then I'll go ahead and look to build into a new position from a smarter location instead of selling at the lows.
Can't go broke taking profits, and that would be pretty much a perfect range trade, Gabe. That is range to range, top to bottom.
Look, absolutely beautifully done.
Only about 10 points off.
Absolutely beautiful.
Incredibly good patience as well, just holding it through this entire thing. Probably going to get filled pretty soon, actually. But I think, Gabe, you're right. And also, Anne-Marie, the big worry is that do we touch 800 and then just get the zoomies and bid up 100 points?
Exactly.
Because we hit a big round number. And that's what we're trying to avoid here. And that's kind of the plight of rocking a one lot. You got to have incredible patience if you have lofty goals for your take profits.
So what I like to do in spaces like this would really be anchor the VWAP. And so we've got a VWAP anchor from, we could do it from the last low. And you can see that trend continuation to the downside is really there. If we do one from the last real breakdown before we got in the range, you can see both of them are there. So the pressure is still, I mean, everybody that went long is vastly underwater, and the ones that are short are going to be thinking about taking profit at some juncture. And so where Gabe is coming out, I'm thinking about going in. So I have a buy at 806.
Very cool.
Let it go maybe 15 points against me, and that would be
order filled.
You know, about it.
Okay.
As a cheap trade. So chat, Gabe is trying to take profit at the bottom of the range with his one lot, and Marie is trying to get long the bottom of the range. And I mean, honestly, if you look to the left, we have bounced at 805s and 800s. It would not be unprecedented for this to bounce again, another 100 points, maybe more. Nasdaq has been known to V-bounce. It's very annoying, but it is part of its personality. Let's see how this plays out. This is actually incredibly exciting. Go ahead, Gabe.
If we don't take these lows now and we get a reflexive bounce, I'm going to actually add to this position.
Okay.
If we take these lows first.
I love that.
Yeah, if we take these lows first, then I'm just going to be out, of course, and then I will potentially try to sit on my hands for a little bit before I just get into another trade. But if we get a reflexive bounce, maybe retest 850s, I wouldn't mind adding a contract and then keeping risk above that previous high, kind of underneath that support floor that we were looking at originally that is kind of currently turned resistance. So my risk would still stay around the 880 level. But if we don't get this target first, I'm still going to use that as a target, but I'm going to look to add on a pullback somewhere 840, 850.
What qualifies as a reflexive bounce versus a bouncy bounce? Is it just a regular bounce?
I just use the term because Anne Marie likes to use it, and I'm on with Anne Marie. But no, a bounce to me in general would just be a pullback against the momentum of some kind in this case. So obviously we've got momentum down right now in the last 30 minutes. My goal is to see the flush of this lower end of this range. So if my target is left untouched, we're obviously only 10 points away from my target right now, but I would be definitely interested to add one, because at that point too, if I keep this as my original target, and yes, I'm going to lose location. I mean, my original entry is 918s, and if I average at 850, I'm probably going to get, I don't know, somewhere around the 880s maybe for an average between the two. But at that point, I'll be able to hold a runner past these lows in case we continue to break down into the 600s.
Filled.
I don't know if we're going to get that. We look pretty tempted. We look pretty heavy here. Buyers aren't really doing a great job right now of finding a bid.
Yeah, so interestingly, there's a 500 lot sitting at 24,800.
Okay, I now see that. 800 even. 570 contracts, 800 even, NASDAQ.
So here's the thing about these guys. So I know a guy who used to trade really big size for a firm. And he would, there's my all.
There's the